everything's alright. To Wolfman Jack. If you want yourself a demon, well, I don't mind. Just ditch him when the sun goes down. Moon shines bright and everything's alright. And the Wolfman, he creeps into town. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. I gotta turn this off because I got stuff to talk to you about today. So, well, first of all, do you like that? Another Todd Rundgren favorite of mine. So, tonight's a full moon, and it's in Libra. And although the energy's been kind of intense, leading up to the full moon, people scrapping and fighting and carrying on, right? We should start to feel this level off today. But this is like the romantic moon. Right? This is a launch pad for new beginnings and romantic connections. This is a very sensual moon. You'll see a lot of humans imitating the love nest thing, right, going on. So this is going to be fun for everybody. If you're in a relationship, you'll experience like a second honeymoon thing, And if you're not, this is, like I said, this is a launch pad to initiate or start, or the ability to draw to you the right partner, the right romantic connection, right? So good luck to all of you. So use this full moon energy launch pad to open your heart and open your mind and explore what might be out there. You may be surprised. Anyways, so there's some other trends that are coming up this week, and I was kind of running a little behind this morning. Full moons have a tendency to make me sleep in shifts. And it's like, what was it? Friday night I was actually lucky, and to Saturday morning I slept all through the night. But, that required a little bit of help, too. So, and I talked to my kids. I FaceTimed with Jordan and Dre. Jordan's in Minneapolis and Dre's in Los Angeles, keeping the home fires burning. And so we did like a 3-way FaceTime and had like a little party. So, but yeah, this week and it happened again last night. It's like sleeping in shifts. I'd fall asleep maybe around 9 o'clock and then wake up, boom, the witching hour for me. This week was 2:30 on the dot, and then wide awake. And then, 4:30, 5 o'clock, I really almost felt like, so if I look a little tired, that's why. I felt like I could have stayed up all day, but I knew better. So then I went back to sleep and then downloaded, we have really, really intense dreams during a full moon season. And sometimes in the new moon as well, or as I refer to it as the dark moon. But so, I finally got back to sleep around 5, and then that opened up everything in order for me to process and to dream, okay? And my dreams are like Martians and blue ponies, with leprechauns. I mean, a lot of times I have to write them down in the morning and, string it together after the fog clears for me, because they're always intuitive messages, but they're not clear. So I had one this week with a friend of mine. Renee was over here, and we were sitting on the deck, and Snowy Owl had built a nest in the tree. And in my dream, I kept trying. I probably was doing this physically. I kept trying to get a picture because her babies were feeding. And anyway, so once I came to and processed it, then I understood what the messages were. So, but yeah, a lot of times it helps if you are receiving data in your dream time. Numbers, colors, totem animals, which is what I'm going to talk about today, are very significant. And your subconscious knows what these things mean, but your conscious mind may not. So your subconscious stores the data so that you're prepared, and your intuition piece will store the data and have it all processed out. But your conscious mind is so busy. Did I remember to pick up the dry cleaning? Did I pay this bill? Did I make this appointment? That stuff that keeps this busy chatter in our head all the time and kind of clouds our ability to make the connection between the conscious and the subconscious mind, right? So, many times it won't be clear to us here, but we're still secure, we're still safe because the gut knows. The gut knows the information. Okay, so as you can see, I'm actually breaking a rule and drinking coffee this morning because once we got up and got moving, I was like, I don't have a lot of time, and I didn't feel like it because it was cold, but the sun came out, so it was extremely essential for me to get up and get out and get moving before I talk to you guys today. And I strongly advise it for everyone, like every day, get outside, get moving around. You'll feel better. Even if you're not everybody is as mobile as I am, even if you're not that mobile, just go out and sit, just get outside and just sit and embrace, let the earth's magic and energetic field recharge your soul, so do it. I highly recommend. So today I wanted to talk about totem animals, and some people had asked me, they sent me private messages, or they asked me in last week's thread, and I put up a post this morning if you had if you've had any unusual experiences with nature, and you don't understand, or you didn't understand what it was about. I want to help you with that, so one, I can't think of her name right now, so I apologize, but please jump in and say, it was me, was asking about possums. She's got possums, baby, in hanging out. And possums got kind of a bad rap because it was said that they spread EPM, which is a debilitating disease if horses get it. And so for a while there, people were really kind of annihilating them, and it's not their fault. If you have horses, you need to keep your grain in bins that are secure. Then problem solved. So possums I'm really fond of, and they don't carry rabies. It's not possible for them to carry rabies. But possums encourage us to create a diversion in some way, shape, or form. So create a diversion. So if you're getting messages from possum, take inventory. Like, what's going on in your life that you might need to, or who's coming into the picture for you, or around your family, around your tribe, that maybe is a little too much overbearing, or maybe they're asking too many questions, like, what are you, a reporter, right? And maybe they're trying to gather data to maybe use back at you at another time or whatever. So and not and a lot of like adult children of alcoholics and you know addictive, their parents, they have a tendency to over explain, like they feel this, oh no, and it somehow links with the dynamic of how the household went. Everybody's got a different story, but the energy is still the same. You know what I'm saying? So, people are coming at you, you feel like you need to over explain, or you don't owe anybody an explanation. And if somebody, and if you really listen, you can tell the difference between somebody who's asking you, authentic because they care, they're interested, or they want to get to know you, and they want to know, like, what makes you tick. If you pay attention, you can tell the difference between somebody who's gathering data, right, and somebody who is authentically trying to get to know you. So that's kind of in a nutshell what Possum is about. But it's like a protection mechanism too. It's like, Possum isn't trying to feed you paranoia, Possum is just like, become more creative. If you're stuck on something that's bothering you, change channel up here. You know what I'm saying? Change the channel. Put some music on. Do whatever it takes to. Okay, I wonder. I had my damn headphones on plugged into my phone. Could you guys even hear me at all? Oh, I'm so sorry. Could you guys hear me? I had my headphones in my phone, and so the mic was like laying on the ground. So I'm really sorry. See, that's what I get for being in a hurry. Okay. So, okay. All right. Anybody have trouble hearing the first part of that? I hope not. I didn't realize my headphones were plugged in instead of my cord. So hang on a minute here. I gotta fix something. Oh, don't yell, honey. All right. Maybe I was talking loud enough. I apologize. So I just went through this whole thing about the full moon, and then, there we go. This whole thing about the full moon, and then about Possum. So I hope you could hear it. I apologize otherwise. We could hear you, but a little interference. When you move, okay, all right. Well, it should stop now. You should be able to hear me better now. So, okay. So I talked about Possum. So I'm gonna make sure that I've got, get back on track here, because all of a sudden I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so we got that. And Dave, my friend Dave, he asked about crows. And crows are an extremely powerful totem animal, and one of my favorites. If you watch my photos and my videos, crow gets a bad rap. I think there were weird omens about crows years ago, and that maybe they brought some kind of dark message of whatever, but crows actually represent balance and justice and fairness. So I like the justice part, because a lot of times that can represent if there's a legal challenge going on. They're extremely bright. They're extremely in tune with their family. So they represent the tribe you know, what they call them a murder of crows, right? But I feel like even more than cardinal, and I will talk about cardinal in a minute, I feel like crow is more in tune with being a conduit of support, love and support from the other side. I have a friend, her name is Sandy. Her son, give me a minute because I'm choosing my words real carefully here, was found deceased, and there was an extremely strange set of circumstances. He was getting ready to, he'd been hired on at the San Diego, I hope I said the right town, police department. He had worked really hard and gone to school, and so he was so excited about starting his life, and then he was found deceased in this town. And there is no doubt in my mind, in any of our minds that really have tuned into this, that there was foul play involved. And foul play from circumstances within people in positions of authority. And that's all I can really say about it. But she wants justice for her son. And the first time she came to me, because when there's missing people or missing pets, I offer my services. I don't charge for those things. And it was like midday, and I mean, she was sitting here, and there were like 10 crows outside my house. Now, you know that I feed crows, and that I have a family of crows, and my mother actually is the one who sends me my crows. But they don't show up in the middle of the day. They come in the morning and they eat, and then they go about their day doing crow things, you know. So, but when she was here, there were like 10 crows, and they were so loud, and I was explaining to her that the crow was indicating that there would be justice for her son. And whether sometimes it isn't evident, all right? Sometimes it's not evident on one level or one, what's the word I'm searching for? Court system. But Crow will make sure, or Crow is letting you know that yes, justice will be, whether it's karmic justice, whether it takes 1 year or 2 years, karmic balance will be there. Then she goes to visit her son's grave. These crows start following her around. They call to her, they talk to her, and they ensure this support for her. They let her know that, don't worry about it. Justice will be served. But I feel like crows tell us it's okay. Sometimes crows will represent reincarnation. You know, they're a message there. If you lost a pet, and you have a lone crow calling to you, the crow is the conduit, letting you know, look, they're going to come back. They're going to work with us again, which I can't prove it, so there's no point in trying to defend it. It's just something I know. I know from my gut, and have known it and have experienced it firsthand for decades, right? So, but yeah, crow is your karmic balance, and it's almost like they have a stronger influence from the beyond, like a hierarchy. Now, cardinals, everybody's seen this, where I'm sure you've seen the memes and when you see a cardinal, your loved one is near. That's true. but I've always seen cardinals as they're like first responders, like police and fire, right? So right after your loved one transcends and they're still getting comfortable with their new level of consciousness and being out of their soul cage, that, you know, the meat suit that we tote around in, or that we're assigned to at birth. So when you have a loved one that transcends, you know, cardinals are kind of like, I got it, you know, while your loved one is like, you know, adjusting to, or the work they're doing, getting used to being a free-flowing agent, so to speak, and they haven't picked what specific totem animal yet, because that's pretty overwhelming, you know, to have that, you know, being cleansed in that fashion. And so cardinals are like, I got it. So they'll make sure, like, they're on the telephone wire, or they're sitting on your deck or on your windowsill and letting you know, like I said, like police and fire, they're the first responders to bring you some comfort. But then as the spirit adapts to the freedom and the intensity of the, you know, their energetic connection with their creator, right? Then they're a little bit more in step with, they get better at, you know, sending us signals and messages in there through, if that makes any sense. So, and someone had asked about blue jays, and, you know, blue jays have always gotten kind of a bad rap. And, you know, I don't know. The ones that come to my feeder are I don't know if it's just the energy here. I mean, can't imagine my backyard's any more magical than anybody else's, but you know, when they come to my feeder, they're extremely polite. They wait their turn. They don't bully the doves off the feeder. They don't behave in a way that I've ever observed the rap that they have. They'll wait. Like, they like peanuts too, so they'll sit in the tree and they'll wait till the crows go first and get the shell peanuts that I throw out. But blue jays are neat because, first of all, blue is, you know, the throat chakra, communication. So blue jay may be reminding you to redirect your communication, or speak a little clearer. Maybe don't beat around the bush, you know. It's a fine line to go from being rude, which we've seen a lot of that these days, from being rude and, oh, I'm just really blunt, and it's like, is that really necessary? You know, do you have to be a dick? You don't. Nobody does. Or just not addressing an issue like an elephant in the room, you know. So blue jay's kind of the balance there, you know, to encourage you to, you know, speak your piece. Blue jay and coyote have some frequencies that are very familiar as well. So blue jay may be warning you that, you know, someone in your inner circle is maybe a little twisty or a little deceptive. So maybe tune in a little more, pay attention a little bit more to what's being said. But once again, it's not to create paranoia. You know, we don't want to do that. We want to embrace these messages and you know, see them as a support system, not to go crazy and start, you know, accusing people of things. Just just asking us to be a little bit more observant, right? Let's see if I forgot anything about blue jay. So seeing that blue jay and coyote kind of carry the same sort of message, I'll just move into coyote. Coyote is, first of all, coyote asks us to make light of ourselves. You know, it's a you know, hey, you know, maybe we're taking things too seriously, or we're wound a little too tight, or whatever the case may be. But coyote also will support us or warn us if someone's trying to pull the wool over our eyes, or, you know, trick us. And so we can, if we're seeing coyote, we can be a how do I say, we can be a little bit more aware of our surroundings, and you know, not be taken in by somebody or something. Just be a little bit more alert. I've had amazing experiences with coyotes over the years. So, and I know that they are a threat. I mean, you have to be careful with your pets and that kind of a thing. But I've had amazing messages from them. And at one point, my older son had moved out. He was away at school, and my younger son was in high school. And he was always losing his house key. We lived out in the country, like in the middle of, well, not really in the middle of nowhere, but it kind of was. And so I kept telling him to, you know, he'd come through this kitchen window that really didn't lock well. It was a really cool old farmhouse. But he'd come in through the kitchen window, and I'm like, I had just told him, like, I made him another key, and I said, this key, I don't know what the challenge is here, but the key goes on your car key ring. That way, wherever you are, you have both of them. In either case. So I was sleeping. I'd worked a house party, and it was, you know, late, and I got home, and I fell asleep, and my son was still out, but I went out like a light, and I don't know, sometime around midnight, somewhere in there, I heard, because it was summer, I heard the kitchen window rising, right? And that was my warning to my son. I said, somebody's gonna drive by and see you coming in and out of the window, and you're gonna give somebody an idea, so just here's a key, use the door. You know? So I heard the window going up, and I was so tired because the gathering I had worked was long, and it was draining. And so I'm lying there, and I'm like, what did I tell him? I told him. And across the street in the cornfield, it sounded like 20 coyotes going off. They all started howling, you know, at the same time. Now, I imagine for the intruder, that was probably pretty eerie to go to what was known as sort of, you know, Boone County's kind of weird haunted house. Now you're trying to get into the house, and now there's a pack of coyotes across the street making a lot of noise, a lot of howling. So I was like, you know, as I was trying to just stay, when I heard the coyotes, I sat up. I was like, oh wow, that's a trick. I'm being tricked. It's not what I think it is, right? And so I didn't turn on any lights, and my German Shepherd Sage, she's skulking along with me real quiet, right? And I went into my son's room, and I ran my hand across his pillow, and his head was there. And I was like, oh, somebody's breaking in. And as soon as I said something, Sage bounded down the stairs, as well as my son in his boxer shorts, with no weapon. I'm like, wait, no, you know. So that alerted me that what I thought it was in my fatigue was not. So I was very grateful for Coyote. I had a lot of circumstances with Coyote. So as long as we remain safe, you know, and we're mindful, they can be very valuable for us, to us, because there's a reason they're showing up in our view. Okay, so okay. Oh, let's see who. Fox. Fox is another one of my mom's totem animals. Fox that my mom sends to me. So fox tells us that there's support and protection for our family, for our loved ones. Who wouldn't love fox, right? And fox also gives us this like a magic. Remember when you were little and you wish like if you could be invisible. So fox gives us the power to be seen when we want to be seen, and to be like incognito or protected or whatever when we don't want to be seen. And so fox reminds us to keep that balance, but encourages us not to worry, a family member is safe and secure, or our family's being protected. And usually you'll see foxes when you're worried about a particular individual, and our loved ones on the other side will choose these messages to put us at ease. The subconscious downloads the data, and processes it, all right? But the conscious mind isn't always aware, so let's see, it talked about crow and fox and hawk. Okay, so hawk reminds us to snap on the panoramic lens and look at the entire picture, especially with a loss. So sometimes, maybe we have a loved one that has a massive stroke or heart attack, and they're not, and they're gone, and that can be very, obviously all loss is devastating, but sometimes there's a lot of questions after we lose somebody. We're like, maybe I, as a mortal, I wasn't paying attention. Maybe if I'd gotten there sooner, maybe if I had paid, pushed them to go to the doctor, or paid more attention, or whatever, it would have changed the outcome. And I just worked with somebody the other day that their dad had died of a massive heart attack, and so that was traumatic for her, but so the energy and the information I was getting from her father was about hawk, and she says, I see hawks all the time, and I'm like, okay, well, he's trying to remind you that you knew how he lived, right? He was very busy, right, and very active, and he liked to serve his community, and he was involved. He was very much a helper, and with the physical restrictions that this heart attack, being in a wheelchair was not living for him. So that's why he chose hawk. You see, to like, okay, I'd rather be a free-flowing agent than trapped in a physical body that restricts me from living my life to the fullest. See what I mean? So, and eagle, of course, that's huge and amazing. And I mean, there's nothing that you can say about eagle other than it's loud, it's large, it's incredible, and it's a massive message from your loved ones on the other side. It's like joy and, majestic energy and support. And I mean, I could go on and on. I could just list all the words that represent that feeling or that vibration, and we could do that all day, but it's a very powerful totem animal. And if you were going to, this is how I try to describe it, so if you were going to compare like Native American spiritual symbolism, right, with, like, say, Christianity. So then that everybody can kind of wrap their brain around. So it's like God would be like eagle, and hawk would be like Jesus, and owl would be like the Holy Spirit, because owl is, the mystery, the hidden influences. I hate saying hidden influences. Sorry about that, because then it seems like it's something seedy and creepy when it isn't meant to be. It's more about opening your crown chakra and being in tune to other dimensions and embracing that. So, black-capped chickadee, one of my favorites. Okay, you'll hear them more than likely than you will actually see them, because they're everywhere and they're here all year round, right? So, when you're coming in from the garage or the grocery store or whatever, or you're, sorry about that, you'll hear those little calls, and it'll be, chickadee, you'll hear it. You'll hear them all the time, black-capped chickadees, and they represent bravery. Like, I love that part about them. So if there's something you're fearful about or apprehensive about, and your loved ones send you chickadees, it's like, it's okay, I got it for you. Be brave, step into it, because we're here for you. So I like that. Doves and deer send pretty much the same message, unconditional love. If you see a deer in the field when you're driving, pay attention. Is it your left side, right? Then that means that your left side's your receiving side, your right side is what you send out. That's why we shake hands with our right hand. But somebody else said something about it was because of swords or something. But I feel like my description fits a little bit more, because you put your right hands together and there's an exchange of energy, so you're downloading data, so deer is unconditional love, mourning doves are unconditional love, and your loved ones are sending this message to you for support, for love and support. So excuse me, let's see if I forgot anybody. I'm going to take a peek over here, and I'm going to see if I'm going to read and see if anybody's asked a question. But this takes a minute, so give me a second. If there's any animals or circumstances that, I can always answer afterwards, and I usually I tend to, I do that anyway. But, because we're live and I'm in pretty good spirits for somebody who didn't sleep very well, I'm going to take a look and see if I can see better here on the big screen. I can't see on my phone. Even if I put my big goggly glasses on, I can't see. So, raccoons. I see somebody asked about raccoons. Okay, somebody said they needed to hear about the facts. Thank you for bringing up the raccoons. Raccoons warn us of theft. Who was that? Who asked me? Marianne. Thank you, Marianne. Raccoons warn us of theft. Like, we have to be careful. Lock that door. Don't leave your laptop in your car, right? When raccoons are coming around, they're telling us to be careful. Don't leave your purse sitting at the table and wander off somewhere. And that's probably like the loudest message about raccoons. Or are you in a romantic relationship where maybe they're starting to get a little greedy with their demands, or maybe they're not pulling their fair share of the weight, whether it's in your household or Jesus, does it always seem like you're the one picking up the tab, or are you hearing this? Yeah, I'm kind of broke. Well, can you help me out? Can you, you know, can you buy me a beer? Can you buy, you know what I'm saying? After a while, it's like, when this isn't fair, right? So it doesn't have to be like a burglar. It can be a little bit more like maybe in your personal realm where the scales aren't even, and raccoons spooking around to say, hey, you need to cut it here. You need to set some boundaries. Okay? So, but yeah, I'm glad, because I forgot to write raccoon down. Hummingbird, butterflies, dragonflies. One word. Joy. You know, dragonfly, though, encourages creating illusions and you know, it could be with the way you present yourself. And it's not negative. It's not being deceptive. Illusions are not deception. But dragonflies can represent that element. And hummingbirds are joy, just pure and simple. You know, wherever they are, that's the message then from whoever your loved ones are. You figure it out, you'll know in your gut. We'll send, you know, hummingbirds and butterflies. And, you know, I mean, you can't beat that with a stick. They're my favorite. And they should be heading up this way pretty soon. I got my, you know, my feeders are all I don't have them out yet, but I'm ready to start with hummingbird season again. I'm really excited about it. So, and spiders, I know there are some people that have a real hard time with spiders, but spiders are the artist, the musician, the creative. And when you are having, you know, an unusual experience with a spider, it's doing its best to tell you, look, maybe you better put the math book down for a while and get out the oil paints, or get your guitar out, or, you know, get pen and paper and start, you know, writing your story, writing a poem, whatever the case may be. So I always feel bad when I see, you know, somebody's like, it killed the spider. And it's like, well, all that spider was trying to do was to get you to, you know, tap into your creative resources. You know, no need, you know, but I'm one that, you know, I catch them and let them outside, weather permitting. If it's cold, then, well, they're just going to have to live it out here, right? So bats, that's another one. Bats can get a kind of a bad rap. But bats, give me a minute here, because I want to get all this fluent, because all of a sudden I sort of hit a wall. Are you familiar with, like, you know, stories about, you know, the shaman of the tribe, and, you know, who's going to be the shaman, who's going to be the healer of the tribe, right? And so if they suspect that they have a shaman's been born, you know, by the way they're carrying themselves in, you know, however the stars were aligning and so on and so forth, you know, the shaman will go through a really vigorous test, and that's difficult and strenuous and maybe even painful. And so bat represents that frequency of, if you've had an experience with a bat, the bat is asking you to take your pain and your wisdom and your, you know, it just feels like you just have been hit with one thing after another, to embrace that and to use it to heal others. And that's not always easy to do. And if if you become consumed with it, then you're not using those lessons or losses or wounds to your advantage, you know. So Bat kind of comes in and says, hey, why don't we start moving in this direction and helping others with similar circumstances, or, you know, be the healer, be the shaman, okay? And instead of, you know, mulling it over or becoming a victim to our pain. Easier said than done. So certainly that wasn't a scolding thing. But, gosh, did I forget anything? I'm gonna peek because I can see better on this big screen here. Oh, I love that. Cindy has robins. Dogs, I'll talk about that. Talked about butterflies. Okay. Robins are very social. They encourage community. Robins are positive, right? They're, along with all the other new life coming in. And I think if you're getting, or if you've had an unusual experience with robins, that's encouraging you to embrace your community or touch base with your tribe, you know, and connect in that manner. So, and usually by the time spring rolls around, we're a little bit more apt to do that or feel like doing that, you know. So Robin is cheerful, it's positive, it's you know, presenting yourself in a positive light within your community. How can you what do you have to offer and to contribute? You see, so dogs and cats. Gosh, I'm glad somebody brought that up, because I would have just assumed everybody knew what that meant, and then I would have dropped the ball on you guys. So dogs represent loyalty, right? Dogs encourage loyalty, and encourage you to demonstrate that quality, right? So that's dogs. Let me get this. You know how they'll say, like, a dog always knows? Dogs and kids know, like, if there's somebody that's maybe a little shady, you know, and they may tolerate an individual in your circle. I mean, it's not like they're gonna jump and bite, but you know, dogs are an indicator for us, you know, too, as to like who's in our circle and what's going on there, and if they're suspicious, you know, then, you know, maybe you should listen to them. That's what they're there for, right? And cats, they kind of vibrate with owls, you know, the same, you know, the same frequency, you know, you know, they resonate with the number 7. They, you know, the hidden influences, the mystical, the magical, the magic, the mystic, right? So, and cats will help you tune into your own intuitive resources. I'm suspicious of people or men that have a problem with cats. And now, people that are allergic, they can't help it, right? They can't be around cats, you know, people that are allergic to dogs too. But in general, especially a masculine, like I've always told women, if there's a man you're dating somebody that owns a cat, he's a winner. Hang on to him if you can, because that's a man that understands that they have no control over the universe, and that's a good sign, you know. So I think a lot of times too, people that are repelled by cats have control issues, and so that speaks volumes. It's not. I'm not bashing anybody, but hey, if you're more of a free spirit, maybe that isn't the person for you. So there's always signs and signals for us to explore, all right? And when we're getting to know people, friends or lovers, we get lots of messages, and then or a lot of times, I've had clients. It's like, there were some red flags, and I go, I know, but you had to take it to the finish line. I get it, right? So, so I hope that was helpful for you. I did one of these like at the very beginning, and like because it's been a year that I started doing these on Sundays, and of course I was putting way too much concern about what the outcome was going to be, and I wasn't comfortable, and so I decided to reboot some of these, and and a lot of people can't find them because they're a year old. I'm starting to upload these on my YouTube channel, so I'll put a link in there, in the column up, or in the in the thread. I'll put a link to my YouTube channel. If you could just click on it and like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. So we'll see if I can build some momentum with that or not. But it only takes you a minute. And you won't get a lot of messages because I only upload one, and I still haven't uploaded the one from last week. This week was kind of a whirlwind. But if you wouldn't mind doing that, I'll put the link in the thread, so it's real easy. You don't have to Google or try to find anything. It's as simple as that. All right. So here we are. We're heading into spring, right? The full moon in Libra today is a launch pad for that, for lovers, for new beginnings and fresh starts. And you'll notice the tension from the momentum that was building through the week, people driving crazy or mad about something. You'll notice that's going to settle out today and balance out today, and that will be complementary, right, to you, and well, to all of us. So okay, I think I covered everything. I'm gonna check one more time and see if anybody put any animals up there, and if I don't catch it, and if you're watching this afterwards, just make a note in the thread. I'll answer you. I'll tell you what it means. Okay. So not everybody's got stuff to do, like yard work and stuff like that. So I understand that people are going to see this when they're going to see it. So okay. All right. Well, let me look one more time. Okay. All right, hold on. Terry, I think Bo is trying to tell you that he is on his way back. All right, and that's obviously going to take a while. But I believe that Bo is sending you signals that you will see him again in a new healthy body. And that's why he's sending you those signals as they come back. Okay, all right. Okay, I love you guys. Stay well up here. Okay, that's where I'm noticing people having the most trouble, is staying sane up here. And, with all of this, almost like post-traumatic stress from everything going on, right? And try to keep a nice even balance with how much social media or whatever that you're ingesting. Get outside and take a walk. If you've got a bad hip, sit on the deck, get outside and connect with nature. alrighty, because it's going to heal you. You know, that's a frequency that, you know, puts you back on track and in alignment. Make sure you're eating. Make sure you're eating right. Foods that build your immune system. Take your D3, right? And embrace. We're launching into a new season, regardless of where you live. I think regardless of where you live, you're launching into a new season. It may not be spring though. So I have a couple friends that are in Australia. So, but you know, this is a turning point for us. And we as a collective consciousness are way more powerful than a few chosen few. Okay, so that's where we want to remain centered with. All right, so, okay. Oh, you know who I forgot? Hang on. Scout. She tired. Come here, honey. Come on. Come on up here, say hi. Oh, she's so tired. Come on up. Oh, I almost forgot. Mommy was blabbing away. Look who has to say hi. Oh, you're sitting on your sister. That's okay, you didn't mean it. Okay. Look who's coming to say hi. Yes. She says, oh, we had a nice walk. It was cold, but it was refreshing. Huh. Yeah. And it felt good to her little brain. Her little brain needs, yeah, you tuck. She tucks. You tuck. Her little brain needs activity. Huh. Oh, it felt good to get that out of your system. You know? Yes. And then here's little sissy down here. You can't see her. Oh, I know. So Scout wanted to say hi, and she wanted to tell you, get out and walk, and take your vitamins, and you know, eat right, and, you know, take care of yourself, okay? She loves you too, you know? Okay. Yeah, I almost forgot. Here, like she's gonna crab them. But look, here. Say hi to everybody. Look at these little pudding paws. Look at those paws. She wants to be on my lap, but then she's like, well, it's got to be, everything has to be on my terms. Oh, I love you. Look at those little pudding paws. Anyway, all right, you guys. Seize the day, okay? All right. I love you guys. Let's remember, okay? Mind, body, spirit. Love to you. Stay well. All right. I'll see you next Sunday, 11/11.